Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to the Four Horsemen on Monday night, April 21st. I'm the Chadster. Tonight we're going to be doing some Four Horsemen tournament number 20 matches. I am joined here tonight with my friend and co-host, Tim Kincaid. Tim, how's it going?
It's going good. What's up, Chad?
Welcome back, Tim. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Four Horsemen. We're going to be diving into Tournament 20 today. And wow, man, I've gotten an early peek at the deck photos. There's some great decks and some really cool brews in this tournament. This is our 20th tournament, and this ran from April 4th, and it's ongoing now through May 11th. We're actually in our top 16. And Tim and I have a very special episode for you today. We're going to be covering some in-person Four Horsemen Aussie matches. If you haven't checked out Four Horsemen Magic yet, check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. We're the only old school Magic the Gathering format that focuses exclusively on the first four expansions: Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark, of the original 1993-94 Magic the Gathering game. As I mentioned, it's our 20th tournament, and we're live now. You can also check us out at facebook.com/group/fourhorsemenmtg. We've got a unique and highly catered banned and restricted with some fantastic prizes. And you can win some of these awesome player-made John Eckleberry special proxy cards. These are given out to our top 8 players. These are custom made by John Eckleberry from various art sources, including the Magic the Gathering comic books and the Microprose game, as well as the infamous and ever popular Arabian Nights Islands card over there on the right. As I said, we give these out to our top 8 players for participating and making the qualifiers. We also give to our first place winner a Ken Meyer Jr. custom unique art Guardian Beast Purple Moonlight playmat made exclusively for the Four Horsemen, signed and numbered. Only 100 of these were made. You can win this playmat if you make first place in a Four Horsemen tournament. So, Tim, we finally got some in-person tournament matches. The Four Horsemen Aussie crew did some of their matches live, and we got some of the photos here. We've talked about doing a live event, John, myself, and a few other folks. The Four Horsemen players are all spread out, but the Aussie crew is pretty close together, and at least a majority of the players are. And so how cool is that, Tim, that they got to do in-person stuff?
Oh, it's great, man. It looked like they all just sat down and drank some beers and played some old school Magic, had a good time, and got to meet each other. So that's really nice.
Yeah, they took the time to set up their cameras. You can see here, they got their laptops, they got the overhead views, and this is the first time we've done this since SCGCon in 2022 or 2023. When Ken Meyer Jr. was here, we did our 5th event in person at SCGCon Dallas, and I think we had 12 people show up, but we haven't done an in-person event then, and Four Horsemen was brand new back then. So it's really cool to see how the Australia crew has developed. Their group is growing strong. Just a quick look at the matches. So the way this worked out is we had, in Tournament 20, we had 6 groups of 6 players each. So we had 36 players, and we had enough for an entire Australia group unto themselves. We had a Canada group, a North America US group. We had a couple of European groups, and I think we had another US group. So really lots of turnout internationally. 2 groups for the UK and EU area, and an entire group just for the Aussie crew alone. These are the matches. We don't have all of them recorded. About half of these were done in person at this event, and half of them were recorded on Whereby. So today we are going to cover the match of Jack Clegg versus Joel Flint. And let's take a look at the overview. Tim, you've seen some of these cards before because you've played some of these types of decks before. But we have on the left Jack's deck, which is Colossal Tax Return. Great deck name. Fantastic deck name.
Yeah.
And on the right, we have Enchanted Underworld.
Colossal Tax Return. It's so fitting for April, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, for the U.S. people, I don't know if taxes are due, the same dates internationally, but certainly for the U.S. folks,
it's fitting for us. Yeah,
it's very, very apt. And there's a lot of cool cards in this deck. I couldn't fit everything into the thumbnail here, but obviously this deck centers around Colossus Sardia, along with interesting reanimator cards like All Hallows Eve, Hell's Caretaker, Bazaar of Baghdad, and it also has land tax in there. So we'll get into the deck here in just a minute. Colossal Tax Return, but on the right, this is Joel Flint's deck, and this is Enchanted Underworld, and you notice that this is basically the kind of tweaked version of your, Tournament 14 deck?
Yeah, I think it was Tournament 14. I was able to win first place with almost the exact list. I think he has one less greed now that greed has been restricted since then.
Right.
But it's like 5 or 6 cards different, maybe a few cards in the sideboard, a couple cards main deck.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into these decks, but really great to have this match and see Jack and Joel playing in person down under. Let's get into Jack's Colossal Tax Return deck. What do you think of Jack's brew here, Tim?
I am just loving what he's done here with so he's basically a reanimator deck with like All Hallows Eve, right? And then the Hell's Caretaker to recur stuff. But it looks like the way he wants to get things in the graveyard is land tax, right? To trigger that early tax, he's got the 4 tax. He gets the 3 lands and he has to discard, right? That's what I'm seeing here?
Yeah, that's right. Well, and he's combining it. He's got also the Bazaar of Baghdad combo.
Oh, the Bazaar.
Yeah, so Bazaar of Baghdad's kind of right here in the middle. It's proxied with some alternate art. As we all know, Bazaars are pretty pricey. And we do allow proxies and reprints in for Horsemen. So this is a proxy for Bazaar of Baghdad, but he's all in on it. He's running 4 of them.
Yeah, so he's got the Bazaar and he's got some sacrifice outlets like Life Chisel and Diamond Valley, so he can gain a bunch of life and then he can bring them all back.
That's right.
Again.
Yeah, it's classic reanimator with some huge heavy hitters. There's several 1-ofs in here and a few 2-ofs that are worthy of discussion. But if you just start at the top left, he's got a couple of preachers. A lot of times we see white decks, they're all in on Preacher because if they can't deal with him, he's a real problem. Loaded all the way up with 4 Hallows Eve, so he's really making sure that he's going to get all Hallows. And then the Colossus there, that's a big bad boy. What is he, a 9/9 Trampler?
9/9 Trample, yeah. And if he doesn't have to pay to untap, he can just sacrifice him and bring him back later.
Yeah. And then, of course, land tax as well. I mean, it's a 4 of there. Now, this is interesting, I found. Abu Jafar. We don't see Abu Jafar much.
I love Abu, Chad. I played him, I think, 3 or 4 tournaments ago. I had a green, white, blue build with Abu. I love Abu. He's like a recurring death touch creature, right? Removal.
Yeah. They either have to burn a removal spell on him, like a Chain Lightning or something, or pick him off with Triskelion. Otherwise, they're gonna be stopped in their tracks on their attack, at least on the ground. The other card that's really cool is Gate to Phyrexia. We don't see that card too often, but It's 2 black. It's an enchantment. You can sacrifice a creature and destroy another artifact. So there's not a lot of artifact destruction for black, and that's a really powerful card that does that.
I love that it gets artifacts, but I love that it's also a sack outlet, especially with cards like the Preacher. That's really cool, and you can, bring them all back again with the All Hallows Eve.
That's right. That recursion between Gates of Phyrexia, sacking stuff, and then being able to bring it back is super powerful. And that's what the Hell's Caretaker does. You tap him. He's a 1/1 for a black and 3. You tap him, and you sacrifice a creature, and you can return another creature to from the graveyard to play. So really good with Triskelion and some of these other things that are going to end up in the graveyard. And then he's got Brassman. I was kind of surprised to see 4 Brassman here. What do you think's going on there?
I think he's trying to have some tax gas. Like, he wants to be able to play the tax out and then have some plays like the Brassman, the Spirit Link, the Abu, the Tundra Wolf, so he can play the tax game with his opponent.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a major theme for this deck is land tax, and so he's got to be able to survive that early game. And Brassman for 1 mana, it's a great blocker against Factory and Kurdape and all these little small early creatures. And you can always sack it later with Hell's Caretaker, or sack it to Gate to Phyrexia to get rid of some pesky artifacts. We already talked about Bazaar Baghdad. On the 3rd line here, he's got who is this Legends guy? Double red, double black, and 4.
That's the giant. I forget that guy's name. Is it Axelrod? No, he's got Bartle Axelrod on the next row. This guy, what is his name? He's like a giant with maybe Rampage. I wish I could help you here.
I can't zoom in on my view here, but he's a 5/5 trample, and each time a creature is placed in the graveyard during a turn which this guy damages it, you can gain a life, and it deals a damage to a target player.
Oh, that's cool.
So, pretty interesting card. 5/5 trampler. And then the Yawgmoth's Demon. I love this card. 6/6 flying first strike, and during your upkeep, you got to sack an artifact. This is
that's why he's got the Brassman.
Yeah, so that's another outlet for Brassman. And then he's got the Life Chisel, so he can get rid of something like the demon or a creature that might get like Spirit Linked or something. He can sacrifice it, goes to the graveyard, and he can get it back. Johan here, Legend, 5/4. As long as Johan does not attack and is untapped, attacking does not cause your other creatures that you control to tap. So he gives everybody vigilance. And that's a pretty powerful effect. This thing takes red, green, and white. So he's not even planning on ever casting this card or hardly any of these cards, right? I mean, he's got white, he's got black and white, he's got white. He doesn't actually have any red mana, does he? Where's his red mana?
I don't see it. Just black and white in Scrubland. I think, like I said, he just wants to discard to the land tax filling his hand or the Bazaar.
So then why is there a Land's Edge in his sideboard if he doesn't have any red mana?
Probably brings it in against Blood Moon decks.
Yeah, but how's he going to cast it?
I mean, all his non-basics will be mountains when they play a Blood Moon.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's sneaky, right?
Yeah, because then he can do Tax Edge, yeah.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that. So he's just straight up like, all right, if you're gonna Blood Moon me, I'm putting my Land's Edge in, and I can cast it off your Blood Moon.
Yep.
Wow.
Because he's got looks like not 9 non-basic lands that would be mountains.
Yeah. Well, he's got a couple of one-off Tundra Wolves, 1/1 first strikers. That of all the cards in this deck so far, that one kind of mystifies me. I don't really think that those guys are super strong. He's got a one of Witch. I could definitely see playing more Witches. Those guys are awesome, or those girls rather. 2 Triskelions, a Bartel Runax, which Bartel is absolutely a beast, really strong, and then a single one-off Ball Lightning. Really
it's
interesting
fun,
mix.
Yeah, it just screams fun. This deck just looks so much fun. I would have liked to just be there just to watch them play in person and have a beer with Jack and Lucas and some of these
That's
guys.
right.
But you know, hey, we get to watch it tonight, so that's fun.
That's right. Just a quick look through the sideboard. I love the 4 Presence of the Master. This is really strong against all these enchantment decks, and it just so happens he's up against one, so I think that's going to be relevant. Couple of Brainwash. Yeah, I don't know about that card. He does have 4 Spirit Links main. You know, I kind of would like to see something like the Skull of Orm instead of extra, enchant creatures to try and get some of these Spirit Links back if they happen to fall off. But I guess if you come up against some super aggro stuff, those can go in. He's got 2 more Tundra Wolves, and I guess I kind of see what's going on now when I really think about it. He's leaning into that Land's Edge, Tax Edge, Blood Moon strategy where if he really knows he needs to to stick on one land early, he can put in these extra 2 Tundra Wolves, and now he's got 8 1/1s. So I start to see the strategy that he's going for there. And you can always sack the Wolves later to Hell's Caretaker or block early things. So that starts to make more sense. And then he's got a 1 of Abyss and a Felden's Cane. And then up there in the top, 3 Dancing Scimitars, 1/5 flyers. What do you think of this sideboard?
It's cool. He's got the Scimitar with the Abyss plan. He has a lot of artifact creatures. Colossus, Trike, Brassmen, and the Scimitar. The Abyss would become pretty potent. I think the Presence of the Master could be really nasty against this Underworld Sanctuary deck. It probably has 16 or 20 enchantments to try to deal with his creatures and tries to win with enchantments like Underworld Dreams. So that would be interesting to see how that's going to play out. I don't know about the Land's Edge. I'm with you. Like, maybe how does he cast it? I guess it's for anti-Blood Moon. I would love to see that in action against somebody. I don't think we'll see it tonight because the white-black opponent won't have Blood Moon. But yeah. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty cool.
So I guess if he comes up against a heavy, like Urnum, Burnham type deck, he can swap out 3 of his colored creatures and swap in his 3 Dancing Scimitars and his Abyss, and he gets more of like a robots build. But it seems like his Abyss is going to take out a lot of his own dudes, but then maybe that doesn't matter if you're playing all hollows. What do you think about including an Abyss in this brew, in the board?
Yeah, it just means he's gonna win with Colossuses, I guess, or Colossi, you would say. It could work. I mean, all you need is like a couple Colossus to win the game, and the Abyss just kills the other stuff. I guess he doesn't care so much about Tundra Wolves and Witches if they're playing a bunch of big fatties, and Abyss is just an answer for that.
Right. Okay. Well, really spicy, interesting, creative brew, fantastic name. Yeah, you gotta love everything about this deck. You've never seen a deck like this anywhere in Old School Magic. This is what's unique and cool about Four Horsemen, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how Jack does with this deck. For Joel Flint, let's take a look at Joel's deck. We don't actually have Joel's deck photo. We've got a digital view here, and we'll try and take you through it. He's running 4 Divine Offerings, 4 Felwar Stones, 3 Spirit Shackles on the upper left with the 1 of Fountain of Youth there, 3 Ashes to Ashes, 2 Jaloom Tomes, 4 Oubliettes, and 2 Underworld Dreams. A Greed, a Spiritual Sanctuary, a Tawnos Coffin, and an Abyss. And then in the lower left, he's got 1 Ivory Tower, 4 Land Tax, 4 Spirit Link, and then a single 1 of Triskelion. For his mana, 8 Swamps, a Strip Mine, 4 Scrublands, 6 Plains, a Factory, a Maze of Ith, and 2 City of Brass for 23 lands. And as we said earlier, this is very similar to Tim's brew, the Enchanted Underworld deck theme. In the sideboard, he's got 4 Brassman, 3 Kumbaj Witches, 2 Dust to Dust, a Felden's Cane, 2 Greater Realm of Preservation, 2 Millstone, and an extra Underworld Dreams. So you're heavily qualified to comment on this brew, Tim. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, this deck it's pretty nasty. It's kind of just a draw go deck. It just wants to fill up its hand with land tax, draw go, hit all your land drops, kill any creatures your opponents play, gain life with Ivory Tower, Fountain of Youth, and Spiritual Sanctuary. You can actually gain, multiple life a turn. If you have two of those three cards out. Not to mention you have the Divine Offerings and the Spirit Links. You can even put a Spirit Link on that one trike if it's late game and just sit there and recur with the Coffin. If you get the trike Coffin out with the link, you can gain so much life with this deck. And so the Greed particularly lets you double down and draw a lot of extra cards, as well as the Jalem Tome with the land tax, extra lands. You can discard to Jalem Tome. And then you can afford to pay the life with a card like Ashes to Ashes. So he can run 3 Ashes to Ashes and get a lot of card advantage. It's a 2-for-1 when you remove 2 of their creatures with the 1 card. But yeah, the deck just wants to win really with Underworld Dreams and just sit there and kill all your opponent's creatures. It's an anti-creature deck, life gain deck. But it doesn't have a lot of win conditions. That's the one weakness. He can sideboard into a Millstone strategy with with Millstone and Felden's Cane, or do more Underworld Dreams damage. I'm not sure what he had. What was the top card in his board there?
The top card in the board is 4 Brassman.
Brassman. Okay, so he's just trying to protect against an early swarm with that card.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of this deck. It wants to win with Underworld Dreams or a late game trike with a lot of men on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, Brew, and interesting that Joel, obviously inspired by your brew. This thing has 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Has 20 main deck enchantments. So enchantments are very powerful in 4 Horsemen, and as we saw with your tournament 14 win, if your opponents don't have answers for it, it can crush them. But interestingly, if we go back and look at Jack's deck, Jack is prepared for this because he's running the 4 Presence of the Master in his sideboard. So he's got a great set of answers for Joel's Enchanted Underworld.
Yeah, and even game 1 with Joel, if Joel can get down, even if he gets 2 Underworld Dreams down, that's 2 damage a turn. Mm-hmm. Granted, Bazaar Baghdad, if he uses the Bazaar, he's going to take way more damage, or his own Jalem Tome. He won't. He probably won't be able to use Bazaar much if he gets these 2 Underworld out. But it's going to be hard to win, I think, for Joel with 2 Underworld and the recurring trike later with all that life gain. Like I don't know how much life gain, but it was a lot in the Colossal tax return. It was like a colossal amount of life gain.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so let's get into the match. Jack Clegg's Colossal tax return versus Joel Flint's Enchanted Underworld. I'm going to switch over to the match here. And when you're ready, Tim, we can count us down. I'm at 140. And Tim and I are already lined up here. On 3.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're playing this back at 2x speed. It's quite a long game, so we're gonna double through it at 2x, and we might need to quickly commentate on what's going on and keep you appraised. So we've got. Let's see, who's who? We don't have names since it's just an overview. You see Chris is on the video here, top down. We don't
yet. Yeah, I can kind of see the guy on top's hand.
Oh, and they've got a really bad glare on this video. Double land tax for both of them.
Interesting. Wow.
That's what I'm thinking this is.
Or not so interesting, but it's kind of funny.
If those guys don't address that glare, it's going to be really challenging.
Okay, looks like let's see, was it Jack that has the Colossal tax return deck?
Yeah.
It looks like he's on the bottom.
Right, he's on the bottom
here. He played a Tundra Wolf.
Yeah, and you know, here I was talking about how I didn't really understand the Tundra Wolf ad early on. Well, here it is, right? He's got land tax, double land tax even. His opponent does not want him drawing 6 lands out of his deck, so he's just he's playing playing right around it. Now Jack's got double Tundra
It
Wolf.
seems like, he's going to have to play a land because he's going to take 2 damage every turn. Those little drops are pretty good, unless he comes up with a brass man to block or something. Those are sideboard.
Those
right?
brass men are sideboarded for him. So, wow. Yeah, we can kind of see his hand here. I see a scrub land. I see a City of Brass. So he's just taking it on the chin, 2 at a time from these double.
And he's
Tundra
discarding
Wolves.
Johan.
Yeah, he's discarding Johan there.
Yeah, he's going to have to play. I wonder how low he'll go before he plays a land.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, he really just needs to cave now because he's giving in, dropping the scrub land. All right, so now Joel's got black and white here.
Best play he could have had is a Felwar Stone there on turn 2, I think.
Yep, so now Jack gets to land tax. Now, what's interesting is if you just pull 6 lands out of your deck here, you can thin your deck quite a bit, but would you want to do that and discard all those lands this early in the game? What do you think?
I don't think so. I don't even think he'd want to even if his hand was like all those big monsters, I don't think he'd want to discard all that yet.
Yeah. All right, so we didn't actually even get to see, his hand was off camera view. We couldn't see how many lands he land taxed for, but he didn't discard any lands. He's just discarding 1 card here at the end of turn. He's discarding his Yawgmoth's Demon. So he's setting up his All Hallows Eve here very, very eloquently, right? He's going to be able to, as soon as he gets to 4 mana, he'll be able to All Hallows Eve and get these big bad boys out of the graveyard.
Okay, there's the Felwar. That's what the control deck needs to do, is be able to get to 3 mana to start dealing with those Tundra Wolves.
Yeah, that's very timely. And if he can get another Felwar, Joel can quickly stabilize here and never have to trigger land tax again.
It's amazing he already went down to 12, just playing that second land.
Just taking it from those Tundra Wolves 2 per turn. Okay, so he gets a City of Brass. Oh, look at this. The Abyss
Strong.
coming down. That is strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now... Jack gets to choose his upkeep triggers, so he looks like he's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's digging out all the land now, so he's going to thin that deck. And he really needs to make sure he's shuffling that deck up nice and good. Loses a Tundra Wolf to the Abyss, and now he can actually safely play another land because Joel played a land.
Joel has 3, so, oh wow, 3 land tax.
Land tax number 3.
That's not helpful. I'm surprised he wouldn't just... Oh, yeah, I guess it's better than... He can get extra lands in his hand if he plays that out, so yeah.
All right, so he's discarding all those extra lands there, and he's discarding a Hell's Caretaker.
Okay. He said, oh no, there's an Abyss. I need to thin my deck out of lands. I need to draw. Maybe he started thinking he needs to start drawing some action.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, since he's facing a creatureless deck at this point, he's not going to have to worry about Joel's creatures, because there's not going to be anything in his graveyard. Now, these guys haven't seen their deck photos, so they don't know that.
Oh,
but
he's taxing again? That's not... I guess he stopped him. Okay, he stopped him from taxing.
Yeah, he should not tax again there, because they're tied on lands. Tundra Wolf dies, discarding the Colossus. So he's really got a loaded up graveyard here.
Yeah, this is going to be wild. I don't see how the control deck that Joel is playing, the Underworld Sanctuary, can stand up to an All Hallows Eve.
Well, he needs a bunch of spirit links and one for each creature that comes down. But even then, that won't save him because the damage is done and then you gain the life. So there's
There
the All
it is.
Hollows.
So he'll finally get to land tax. Joel will, because Jack played a 4th land, and Joel only has 3 lands.
So there's a Johann, a Ball Lightning, a Yawgmoth Demon, a Colossus.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is over in 2 turns.
I just don't see how he's gonna stand up to all of that. This is crazy.
This is curtains for Joel right off the bat.
I would think so. We'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm thinking, wow, how many games have you ever played against anybody who's played an All Hallows Eve with a Johann, a Colossus of Sardia, and a Yawgmoth Demon, and all that stuff in their graveyard?
I have played against some All Hallows decks, but not with that particular array of cards. You know, there's a lot of one-ups. That Ball Lightning, you know, being able to attack right out of the bat is pretty cool.
That's cool too. He needs like Maze of It.
I'm surprised he didn't just go with 4 Ball Lightnings, you know, because you're always going to discard them and they're always going to come back and they have haste. So you could just double down on the Ball Lightning trample, you know, damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could have played more Ball Lightnings. You're right. That would have been neat trick. So, yeah, I think it's good we chose to play at 2-speed because when you have tax on tax wars, there's all the shuffling from land tax and goes in. So, okay, there's a land. He's up to 6 mana.
Okay, there's the Spiritual Sanctuary. One life per turn if your opponent controls a white permanent, right?
And that helps both decks because they both have planes. Yeah, if you have a planes.
That's not good. But
not great, no. Because he's gonna have to deal a ton of damage too with his opponent gaining life as well.
Yeah. All right, 1 counter comes off of the All Hallows Eve during the upkeep there. And there's the Gate to Phyrexia, so now he can sack creatures and destroy his opponent's artifacts with them.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I mean he can take out his Jalem Tome and his Felwars.
Joel's not running Mirror Universe, is he?
Oh, maybe that was a card that I had played. I can't remember if I played that in my list or not. Maybe I did.
We'll have to go back and look. I don't remember seeing it in there.
I don't think Joel has it in there.
I mean, it's kind of a must-have, you know, in these types of decks. Fountain of Youth coming down. It's going to be too little too late, though. He's already at 10 life.
Looks like he didn't gain his life from the Sanctuary this turn. He should be at 11, but yeah.
Well, I think he was at 9 before.
Oh, he did gain it?
Yeah, okay. I think he did gain 1. You know, it's a smart thing to do is put something on your deck so you remember your upkeep triggers.
Yeah.
All right, so what's he looking at here? Oh, he's looking at the Gate to Phyrexia. So he's going to be able to take out that Fountain of Youth and those Felwar Stones, but he's got to sacrifice creatures to do it.
Yeah, that kind of gets... I think they're talking, does that get around the Abyss, right? If the Abyss triggers, can he then sacrifice the creature?
Well, he can choose, on his upkeep, he can choose his order and what he does stuff. All right, so untap, upkeep, and then the All Hallows resolves in the main phase, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
So he's saying that the Abyss targets the Tundra Wolf, and he wants to sack the wolf to the gate. I'm not sure how that works, Chad. I'd have to pull up Gatherer, but
yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
If Abyss and Gate to Phyrexia, I'm not sure if Abyss says the judge ruling's probably on there if you can respond to that once it's chosen the creature.
At the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls. The controller of the Abyss controls the ability, but the current player chooses what gets destroyed.
Okay, so you would choose which creature.
Yes.
So he could choose his Tundra Wolf to get destroyed, but it looked like he did not sack it to the Gate to Phyrexia for whatever reason.
Right. And then All Hallows.
Meanwhile, he played out a Bazaar, and Jack just pitched some more fatties in the bin. Look like a Runex, Artel Runex. And the Life Chisel. It's so funny that Joel's having to read all these cards. He's like, this deck is so spicy.
So All Hallows Eve is at the beginning of your upkeep. If this card is exiled with a scream counter on it, remove a scream counter from it. If there are no more scream counters on it, put it into your graveyard, and each player returns all creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. So it does happen at the beginning of your upkeep. So wonder which one triggers first, right? Does the All Hallows trigger and then the Abyss, or does the Abyss trigger and then the All Hallows?
Yeah, if you guys are watching this, comment in the video and let us know what you think. You missed a really cool play, Chad. He played Divine Offering over the Colossus and gained 9 life. Even though he got attacked with a ball lightning and took 6, he actually netted life.
Oh my God! Yeah, I was heads down reading All Hallows and the Abyss. So yeah, I totally missed that. Okay, so he's still in it. He's got some life gain. Well, that's pretty interesting. Divine Offering on Colossus is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's actually wow. I'm just like wow. Like the Divine Offering made a huge difference.
So he's able to oubliette one of those guys. Which one did he oubliette? The Johan?
He took out the Hell's Caretaker, so he couldn't bring back stuff like
smart. Yeah, that's real smart. And then he can Spirit Link the. That's good. Yeah, because the Yawgmoth forces you to sacrifice an artifact, and if you don't, the Yawgmoth can damage you.
Okay, so he chose to sack his Yawgmoth to the Gate to Phyrexia.
Right.
To destroy the Fountain of Youth.
That's very smart. Yeah, so now you can get rid of he can get rid of that Spirit-linked Yawgmoth and not have... He would have had to take 2 damage per turn during his upkeep if he didn't have a way to get rid of it. So that Gate to Phyrexia is really good.
That's sweet. This is one of the craziest old school Magic games I think I've seen in a tournament in a while.
Right. I mean, this is wild, awesome. Right? I mean,
this is awesome.
For any of you guys out there, I mean, there's some cool formats, right? Everybody likes Swedish and Atlantic and X Points and 7-point Singleton, but there's just nothing like Four Horsemen. It is so unique and different. And these types of matches you see here, Spiritual Sanctuary, the Abyss, Divine Offering,
I'm having fun watching this, yeah. So he did hit him with the Johan and Tundra Wolf. So what is that, like 7 damage?
Yeah, but he's only down to what? Is he down to 10 here?
Yeah, he's still trickling the life back up. And note that Jack played a second Hell's Caretaker. That's a big deal. Because now, he can pull Ball Lightning back like every turn almost.
Yeah, he's got to find a way to get rid of that Hell's Caretaker because it's going to get those guys back from the graveyard every time.
He discarded a Spirit Shackle early when he didn't want to play lands.
Oof, man. Yeah, the Spirit Shackle would have been killer good here. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow.
He's Spirit Linking Ball Lightning.
He wants to gain life. Yeah, because the black-white deck's going to have a tough time killing him.
Oh, man. So he Spirit Linked Johan and Spirit Linked his own Ball Lightning. Attacking for...
Wild. So I'm already thinking the black-white deck could deck the Reanimator deck because of the use of Bazaar drawing the extra cards and things. And he taxed out, 5 lands that turn?
Right.
So this could come down to decking if he doesn't kill the control player. Yeah. Because he's gaining a lot of life.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He doesn't really need the life, though. And he's just banking 100% that Joel's not playing creatures here. He doesn't need the life, so, he
scooped him up. That was it.
Wow, he just
no answers.
Well, yeah, he's just getting in for a lot more damage now, and then the Ball Lightning's going to recur. Okay, so let's pause here, Tim, and let's go back over to our decks here. So let's start with Joel's deck, okay? If you're Joel, what are you going to sideboard here after losing that game?
If I'm Joel, I'm thinking I am not equipped to deal with beatings like people attacking me for double digits, over 10 a turn. You could attack for 15 or 20 with one. And I'm thinking, I'm not equipped for that. not to mention the amount of life gain. If I'm playing this deck, I feel just outmatched. I don't even like. Okay, I guess you could bring in the Greater Realm of Preservation to stop ball lightning shenanigans for
Well,
one.
they also stop black. Greater Realm stops will reduce for 1 white and 1 colorless. You can prevent the next damage from a black or red source. So it'll stop the Yawgmoth demon. It'll stop the black red legends. It'll stop
Okay.
witches. It'll stop Johan. It'll stop every
Okay.
card
Yeah.
except for the white and the artifact creatures. So that actually is a huge card in Joel's favor. Is the Greater Realm of Preservation.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking those legends were black.
Yeah, they're
You're
black and
really
red.
quick to remember all those names, but so I definitely think he'll bring in the 2 Greater Realm. Let's see, Dust to Dust. I don't know how many artifacts we saw. We saw like a life chisel.
Yeah, all we saw was Life Chisel and Colossus. So it could be relevant for the Colossus. And being able to remove the Colossus, you also got to figure there's probably Triskelion in there somewhere. But being able to exile the Colossus so it doesn't go back in the graveyard is pretty good. So I would definitely bring in those Dust to Dust.
Then you have the Witches or Brassman. The Witches can kill wolves or Brassman. I'm not sure if he'll bring that in to stop Tundra Wolves or not.
Well, he knows he's up against a land tax deck. Remember we were talking about trying to play around the land tax trigger.
Yeah.
He could bring in the Brass Man to try and play around the land tax trigger, given that he's got Spirit Links, and his opponent does too. So the Kumbash Witches are good early blockers and good pingers. They could ping those Tundra Wolves, and they could ping the Preacher. I don't know, did we see Preacher in that last game?
We didn't see it. He didn't see the Preacher. He may not know about the Preacher.
Yeah, he doesn't know about Preacher yet.
Unless it got discarded. I don't know what all he discarded.
Right. But I'm thinking that, pinging creatures that go to the graveyard is not great. I mean, it might help you survive a little while. But let's look at what he can take out, and then let's talk about what he can take in. So right now, I'm eyeballing the 2 Greater Realm of Preservation, the Underworld Dreams, and the Dust to Dust. I'm thinking those 5 cards are probably what I'm going to try. But let's see, what can we take out?
I actually was thinking, let's see, maybe this, I don't know, what do you think? Spirit Shackle or is that great against, it just kills little guys mostly with Spirit Shackle.
Yeah, the Spirit Shackle's not, I mean, given the fact that all this stuff ends up in the graveyard and you've got All Hallows Eve, I don't know if Spirit Shackle is all that good. I mean, I'm really glad to see the 4 Oubliettes and the 3 Ashes to Ashes in there.
Right.
That's really what he's going to need to lean in on. So, however, the Spirit Shackle, it can reduce, or it can kill a creature with an activation, like the Hell's Caretaker, like you were talking about.
It can kill that. I'd almost rather have a couple of those than the Spirit Links.
Yeah, because the Spirit Links are only going to be good very, very, very late game, although they'll be really good late game. So, man,
but I'm thinking everything he would want a Spirit Link, he can use the Greater Realm of Preservation on those creatures that he would Spirit Link just about.
Yeah. He's got 2 Jaloom Tome. I don't think he needs the Greed right now. So Greed is 1 card he could take out. The Spiritual Sanctuary gives his opponent life too, and that contradicts what he's trying to do with Underworld
I would
Dreams.
take the Sanctuary in this case and just lean on the Tower and the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, I would take out the Greed, the Spiritual Sanctuary, and I would take out probably 2 of those Spirit Shackles. So that's 4.
I think a couple Spirit Links.
Well, the Spirit Links are going to potentially save Joel late game, but they may not actually save him, because ultimately what happens is with Spirit Link, it's not Life Link, and so the damage is dealt, and then if you're not dead, you can gain it back at the end of the at the end of the phase. So you're right, Spirit Link is not great here. However, if he gets into an early battle and those Tundra Wolves come down early, the Spirit Link will be absolutely invaluable because he'll be able to play it without triggering land tax. So I'm thinking you're right. The Spirit Shackles, the double black Spirit Shackles, those have to come out. And there's your 5 right there. The 3 Spirit Shackles, the Greed, and the Spiritual Sanctuary. And you can put in the Underworld, the 2 Greater Realm, and the Dust to Dust.
Yeah, and like you said, a Skull of Worm would have been nice in both of these decks sideboard.
Oh yeah, Skull of Worm would be just phenomenal in this deck. And you know, I don't know. There's a lot you could probably go. You could probably just easily pull out 1 Spirit Shackle and put in 1 Skull of Worm, and it would really.
That's what I was running. I think in tournament 14 in my sideboard.
It'd really do a lot for this deck. You know, the other thing that's really good in these types of decks is if you have a little more defense. For example, you know, a lot of these decks have a lot of powerful flyers, and you know, Maze of Ith is restricted, but if you're not using it for offense, you know how you could do, you know, combat tricks with it. Having an Island of Whack Whack in your sideboard, you had one in your deck. It's like having an extra Maze of Ith against flyers. So he's not running Island of Whack Whack either, but I don't know what else we could take out. He's only got the 1 Triskelion.
I would leave that because that gets the Ball Lightning and Hell's Caretakers, and it's something that can be recurred with All Hallows Eve. I would not touch that.
Yeah, you got to leave it in. The question is, do you sideboard in those 4 Brassman to try to survive the early land tax game?
The land tax war. I don't know. It's. I feel like this matchup is so. I don't know. I guess you could bring some Brassmen in as 1-drops. Like, I would almost rather have them than the Spirit Links.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, that's an interesting thing because the Spirit Link is basically going to do you no good against these big heavy hitters if they all attack you late game, because you're going to die from damage unless you've got a huge amount of life. You can't Spirit Link your own creatures, really. So you could make the argument to take out those 4 Spirit Links and put in the 4 Brassmen.
Yeah, I think he's got to lean on the Brassman early and have the Divine Offering for the Colossus. And he has to hope that he draws the Greater Realm of Preservation. That's really his key card there to prevent the damage.
Yeah. You know, there's one more card in this deck that I'm looking at that could really potentially change things, and that's that one of Felden's Cane sitting there in the middle of his sideboard.
Yeah, I've been looking at that in the Millstone, but the thing is like, man, I almost think, can you really beat that deck, that life gain Colossal tax deck with damage from a few Underworld Dreams? It's like, oh, I almost want to, like, you would want to lean on the Millstone Felden's Cane strategy, except Millstone seems like that play into the reanimation strategy, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can do that either, but it's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah, it plays right. The Millstone plays right into that strategy, and he doesn't have Tormod's Crypt. You know, Tormod's Crypt would be a really good sideboard card too. But he doesn't have that, so he's got no way to remove his opponent's graveyard. But you know, I mean, getting more cards into the graveyard. Here's the thing: you can mill away an All Hallows Eve just by randomly, you know, millstoning.
That's true. I mean, it's a gamble. He could lean on that strategy. I'm really curious to see what Joel will do, because I'm not even sure how I would play this.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any way we could slide in the millstones somewhere. What if we move away from our own land tax strategy? Do we really need our own land tax in this scenario when we know our opponent can play 1 mana and survive?
That's very true. Yeah, and well, he brings in the Brassman to try to get around it, but yeah, it seems like tax plan is not great when your opponent has all those 1-drops.
That's right. So maybe he could pull out a couple of those land tax of his own, put in 2 millstone, and then he's got an extra way to burn more cards, and he can hope to deck his opponent.
Yeah, you could try that with the Bazaar plan. If you can't win with Underworld, you could try to win with Millstone.
Yeah.
And
all right, so
hope for the best.
to sum it up, that's what I would try to do, because it's a very, very tough uphill battle here for Joel. But I think I would I would sideboard out the 3 Spirit Shackles, the Greed, and the Spiritual Sanctuary. That's 5 cards. I would sideboard out the 2 of the land tax and the 4 Spirit Link. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 cards.
11, yeah.
And then sideboard in the 4 Brassman, the 2 Dust to Dust. That's 6. The Felden's Cane makes 7. The 2 Greater Realms, 8, 9. And the 2 Millstones, 10, 11. Now we've got another Underworld we got to get into, right?
Maybe he just abandons the Underworld, but I don't know what kind of. But see, if you try to go all in on a Millstone plan, he knows his opponent was playing that black enchantment that destroys artifacts.
Right.
So I guess he has to try to do Underworld and Millstone.
So he could just go down to 1 land tax and get that other Underworld in, and just kind of move completely away from the land tax strategy, because he's going to have a hard time playing under it anyways.
Yeah, there you go. It is.
So that's a 12-card sideboard. So that's a massive deck change for Joel if he goes that route. But
yeah, at least he's got Dust to Dust that can also remove Colossus from the game.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's look at the Colossal Tax Return Jack Clegg's deck. His sideboard's on the right here. I mean, it's a pretty easy first 4. Obviously, he's gonna put in those Presents of the Master, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now this is interesting. We were just talking about how Jack could lean into the land tax strategy, but he may completely come away from it here. He doesn't need Spirit Link at all because his opponent doesn't have any creatures. So it's a real easy.
Right.
It's a very easy 8 swap out 8 4 land tax, 4 Spirit Link. You could quickly put in the 4 Presents of the Master. You could put in. Oh, looky there. He's got Felden's Cane of his own. He might want to put that in.
Yeah, you never know if he thinks maybe his opponent's going to be trying to mill him. I would take those Preachers out too, since his opponent has no. The Spirit Links and the Preachers are the first cards I was eyeing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we've got 4 land tax, 4 Spirit Link, and 2 Preacher. That's 10 cards he could put in.
You're saying you'd board out the land tax?
Yeah, because you can't play land tax when you have Presence of the Master unless you have.
Oh yeah, you can get land tax down the first 3 turns of the game.
You can. Okay, you're right. If you can get it in the first turn, but he doesn't have. Well, he does have Jaloom Tome, doesn't he? Where's his Jaloom Tomes here? He doesn't have Jaloom Tome. I'm surprised to see that. No Jaloom Tome. That's a discard. You could definitely play 1 Jaloom Tome instead of 4 Bazaar Baghdad. But maybe the Bazaar is faster. Yeah, I guess you're right, Tim. You know, he could just take out the 4 Spirit Links and the 2 Preachers.
And then the 2 Abu Jafar don't do anything either.
Yeah, the Abu Jafar don't do anything. So he could put in, so that's 2, 4, 8. So he could put in the 4 Presents, the 3 Dancing Scimitars, an extra, put in that Felden's Cane. And
maybe the Tundra Wolves as well. He could probably bring those for something.
Right, so he needs 2 other cards. What else?
Probably the Witch. Maybe the Witch. She doesn't really do much.
Kumbaj Witch.
I don't think she hits much.
Yeah, that's true. You could pull out the Kumbaj Witch, but I mean, the more creatures, the better. He wants things that he can attack with. Plus, you need stuff to sack late game. You know, you need things to sack that aren't the big boys.
Well, I definitely think those 8 would come out. What else?
I don't really see anything else that I love pulling out. So he pulls out the 2 Preachers, the 2 Abus, the 4 Spirit Link, and he puts in the 4 Presence of the Master, the 2 Tundra Wolves, a Felden's Cane, and a.
I don't think I'd bring the Cane in against him. I don't know if I would suspect a Millstone.
Well, but if he's looked at the deck photos and saw your deck, you know, he might know.
He knows about the deck.
Plus, he knows he's going to be burning through a lot of his cards. I mean, if I were him, I would definitely be putting the Felden's Cane in because he's up against a control deck. He knows that. He knows it's a life-gaining enchantment, you know,
that's fair.
Defensive control deck, and those games tend to go long. So I would definitely put the Felden's Cane in for sure.
All right, sounds like a good plan.
All right, so Felden's Cane, a Tundra Wolf. No, Felden's Cane, 2 Tundra Wolves, and the 4 Presents of the Master. That's
And then
7
it's
cards,
7.
and 1 dancing scimitar. That's 8 cards. That's what's going in. 2 Abus, 2 Preachers, and the 4 Spirit Links coming out.
All right.
Okay, well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this match. Colossal Tax Return versus Enchanted Underworld Game 2 coming up. Let's get this queued up here. So let's quickly move forward, and it looks like we're gonna pick up at.
I've got like 44 minutes.
Yep, right about there. 40.
I'm at like 44:10 right now, and they're just houses. Their deck.
All right, 44:10.
Okay.
Let me get there. Where are you, 44:10? All right. Okay, switching over. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Now at 50 minutes, some of the guys drop out of the whereby, and the graphics are the zoom of the graphics is gonna change. It's gonna go full screen. So I'm gonna have to switch my screen sharing to get the new screen measurement when that happens.
Okay, looks like Joel starts with a mulligan to 6, maybe, or.
Oh yes, looks like he mulliganed to 6, and he's on the draw.
He chose to draw first.
Yeah, interesting. So land tax for Jack, right? Double land tax.
Yeah, Joel needs a brass man.
Yeah, he needs a brass man. Oh, now I see a land tax in his hand.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
He played swamp. Maybe he didn't have a plains. I don't know.
Wow, he must have had a terrible draw, because he's got a land tax in hand. He's got a Felwar Stone. He's got. I mean, he must have kept a horrendous hand, but he ditched a horrendous hand, and then he got an even worse one. Looks like
so. He's got a scrub land. I'm surprised he didn't. I guess he didn't have the scrub land to lead out with that when he led with the swamp.
So he plays the scrub, plays the Felwar, and then he can use the Felwar to play land tax of his own. But meanwhile, Jack's down there land taxing 6 lands. It looks like, so he's getting them all out.
So he didn't take out the tax against the aggressive Tundra Wolf tax.
He did not. That's interesting.
Okay. Well, you were thinking, go down to like 2 land tax or something?
Well, yeah, I was thinking you might go down to 2 land tax, but
maybe he did. Maybe he did take out.
But what we talked about was pulling out the 2 Abus and the two Abu Jafars, the 2 priests, and then the 4 spirit links, and then he had the 8 cards to swap out, leaving the land tax in.
Oh yeah, that's for Jack.
I was talking about Joel removing land tax.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Joel taking out some land tax.
Yeah.
So.
Now what's funny is he's looking at land tax, but he has land tax of his own.
Yeah, I don't know why he's looking at the land tags. Yeah.
What does this card do?
Maybe he just wanted to see if it was what language it was. Maybe it's not an English one. Maybe it's like.
Yeah, it looks like a real Legends one to me. Brass man coming down. So I mean, Jack is just rocking and rolling here. He's got a brass man. He's got a Tundra Wolves, and he's got a Bazaar Baghdad. It looks like.
And he's got some fries and a cold beer.
That's right, fries and a cold beer. Dice.
He's having a good time.
He's got the glass beads over there. And did you notice that looks like he's gotten some proxies for his Bazaar Baghdad's there, because he swapped it out with the original art image here for the in-person match.
Yeah, it's a nice looking proxy he's got.
Okay, so Yawgmoth Demon going in the graveyard there along with a bunch of lands. All right, now what just happened there?
Henry's still here.
Okay.
Do you need to...
It changed a little bit. Let me just rearrange. Okay, I think.
So notice Joel has a Witches out. That's pretty strong right now to block that onslaught. I say onslaught of a brass man, a Tundra Wolf. He can take out the Tundra Wolf and still block the other.
So he added those in. He put those in. Remember there were 2 in the sideboard? You and I were kind of like leaving those out, but going for the brass man of his own.
Yeah, but maybe the Witch is just a better plan than the brass man.
Right.
So there's the Underworld. So he's still on the Underworld plan, which kind of messes up the Bazaar plan.
Yeah. Guys keep jumping in and out of the whereby, so I got.
Do you need to pause it to resize here?
No, I just moved it back over, so we're good. We get a better view of the fries now. On the left.
Cool.
Okay, so Witches and Underworld and Felwar for Joel. Now those witches are helping out quite a bit on the defense here. They're really strong. They can block the Tundra Wolves and the Brassman, either one. He can ping those Tundra Wolves right away.
We just pinged him because he just took 3 damage from that Bazaar and drawing for turn. He drew 3 cards that turn.
So. Oh wow, that's right. Oh, now it looks like Henry's back in. What is going on with these guys jumping in and out of here? Okay, so oh, now they're going max screen. Full screen. Okay, I need to pause here. Let's pause here for just a second.
Okay.
Tim. And I gotta make sure I can get the full screen for these guys. Yeah, when they change the screen ratios, it really messes with stuff here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Right on time for the original music coming in.
So, this game is not out of reach for the Underworld Dreams deck at this point. It's looking like, right now he's winning 16-14, and he's got a presence on the board. Yeah. So he's looking good.
All right, I think we're good now. Let's hit play on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I'm at right at almost 54 minutes right now.
Yeah, I'm at 53. I'm at 54 now. So.
Okay, I'm at 54:10 right now.
All right, maybe pause real quick and then just hit play again.
Okay. All right, we're good. So you notice, I think he got the tax there, because the Reanimator deck played a 4th land.
Okay, all right. So he got to pull the land tax, and he's doing a nice pile shuffle while Jack munches on some fries and beers.
So you notice here, if the Reanimator deck doesn't get the 4, he can't cast All Hallows Eve. And he only had 2 lands and a Bazaar, so he's got to get the 4 mana with the Bazaar. That's 5 lands in play. So that's kind of an advantage for the Underworld Dreams enchantment deck.
That's a great point, Tim. Yeah, that Bazaar doesn't tap for mana, so he's going to be able to trigger that land tax at least one more time. Now, he's got the Felwar Stone as well.
Yeah, or get to 4 for Presence of the Master. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that too.
Okay, Presence of the Master. Yeah, he needs both of those. So now Presence of the Master comes down. That's going to stop any future enchantments. So all of Joel's enchant creature cards just became completely null and void here.
Like 16 plus cards in the deck, probably.
Right.
But the neat thing here is that he already has a Witch and an Underworld Dreams on the board. That's representing 2 damage a turn.
That's right. And he's got land tax too, so he's going to be able to get some lands out. Yep. And, he'll be tossing a lot of enchant creature cards to the graveyard because they'll all get countered by Presence of the Master, but he does have a way to win.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm curious. But now the Reanimator deck can also cast All Hallows Eve, so this should be interesting.
And he's got life gain, so he's really just focused on damaging Jack. He hit Jack to the face when he could have taken out the Tundra Wolves, and he's just letting the Tundra Wolves live.
I really like the Witches here over the Brassman. Now that I think about it, he needs that as an extra win condition with the Underworld. Smart play by Joel, I think.
Yeah, very smart. We did not go that route in our sideboarding discussion. Maybe.
No.
Okay, All Hallows coming down real fast here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's the reach. We got Ball Lightning, Preacher. He did not take the Preachers out. We got Colossus. We got Hell's Caretaker. We got Ball Lightning. There's pretty much everything Jack needs in that graveyard.
Yeah, it's a fun, spicy deck, this Reanimator. And, there's not a lot of people playing like Tormod's Crypt or Graveyard Removal. There's a card from the dark that can also like remove creatures from your opponent's graveyard, and you gain 2 life every time they do that when they tap. Forget what that card's called. It's a black creature.
So Jack just attacked with his Brassman and his Tundra Wolves to get in for 1. The witches blocked the wolves, they died, and then he pinged Jack for 1 damage. And then Jack takes a damage on his upkeep for the Underworld Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
neck and neck, but the All Hallows fires off next turn.
All Hallows comes next turn.
Notice the Ball Lightning though against the Witch. That's also kind of key.
Oh right, he can just kill that Ball Lightning as soon as it comes down.
Yeah. That's
wow. Is this going to be really tight and close match here? It's what it's starting to look like, right? He's at 8.
It's a nail biter. I'm just thinking, what is going to happen here?
Okay, so looky here. He's got another Witch coming down. That is really good right now.
Interesting.
All right, All Hallows. Here comes the Tundra Wolves, the Preacher. Oh, man, the Preacher, the Ball Lightning.
He left the Preacher in. Oh, because he's got Witches. Why not?
Right. Okay, so the Witches are going to have to take out the Preacher and the Ball Lightning right away, right?
Right, you got to hit that ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so why did he take a damage there?
Because the Witch does 1 damage to the target of the opponent's choice as well. It's not quite Prodigal Sorcerer. Not quite a 10. Oh, another All Hallows. Okay.
Oh, man. So now Ball's going to be coming back. And any of the other creatures that happen to get pinged off by the Witches. Oh, man, that is brutal. That is really, really tough for Joel there.
Yeah, but if Joel has another Divine Offering or a Dust to Dust here, a Divine Offering would be huge.
Yeah, he can gain that 9 life.
Uh-huh. So let's see. He did not. Oh, the other Witch was Summoning Sick. Is that what that was? I guess. Yeah.
So he didn't land tax because they're both at 5 lands. 7 to 11. Boy, this is a nail biter.
7-11. It's like
7-11. Double Witches. Look at this.
Who's going to get lucky here? 7-11.
Who's going to get lucky? Oh, Ashes to Ashes. Exile those.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No.
Oh,
why did he leave the Colossus, though?
Because he's got the Divine Offering and the Dust to Dust.
Are you sure? Do you think he does?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. All right, so he pings the Preacher. So the Preacher
Ashes to Ashes is so good.
Yeah, so he took 5 life to do it, but it's worth it. Those guys are removed. Okay, so he's taking another damage on his upkeep from the Underworld Dreams. And does he have the Divine Offering for the Colossus? He does. Okay, gains 9, goes to 14. Okay, so he pings the wolf, and he gets pinged back for 1, so he drops to 13, and he can block the Brassman with the other Witches.
I don't think you could get a juicier Divine Offering in 4 Horsemen than against the Colossus. But
I mean, there is Aladdin's Lamp, which I think is 11.
Okay, well, I guess that would be better technically, but this is the juiciest I've seen in a live game. And
yeah,
it's kind of sad for the Colossus deck because not a lot of people are even playing Artifact Destruction in their main decks right now, Chad. But you can see how powerful it is sometimes. Like even if it's just a Jalem Tome or a Triskelion that you got to get rid of. I mean, but yeah, it's kind of sad for Jack that he went up against a white deck with Divine Offering in this case.
Wow, I mean that Divine Offering is just a total lifesaver. The Hell's Caretaker coming in is those guys are gonna draw the damage from the Witches, I think. Oh, he's got another Ashes to Ashes, but that is a artifact creature.
Non-artifact. Is he gonna make him target his own Witch, or is he gonna let him take it back? Is he gonna make him play it on his own Witch? Oh man, that would be dirty.
Well, the Witch will come back with the All Hallows.
No,
No, it's
removed from the
removed.
game.
Oh, he made him remove it. Wow.
He could have just pinged that with the witch. Like, it's only a 1/1.
Oh, that's right. He could have pinged it. He could have targeted it and then.
Yeah, he should have just saved that. I don't know. That was a bad play.
Mm-mm.
And he paid 5 life to kill his own witch, basically.
Ooh, damn.
That was pretty rotten.
That was bad.
Yeah.
But can he survive? Jack's at 3 life. Here comes Ball Lightning, and
he's got pretty much got the game there. But now we'll see what happens. I think he can still hang on with that witch, but
oh wait, what's this?
Oh, he had to pay the 5 life. Yeah.
That's right. He had to pay the 5 life.
Yeah, that was just I don't understand that, but
yeah,
I guess
he could have just pinged that guy. Okay, so he divine offerings the.
He's got it again. Oh man!
And then he just takes the damage back from the Ball Lightning.
I'll just take it. I want to kill you with this witch. Wow!
Right, so he kills the Ball Lightning.
He didn't care. He's like, I just.
Oh, he just takes the damage and he pings Jack here.
Yep. Interesting game.
Yeah, so Jack will be at 1 in his draw, and then he can just ping him with the witch.
What a game. Can you believe that? Double divine offering.
Double divine offering on Colossal.
And double ashes to ashes. Pay 10 life, gain 16 life.
Right.
Wow, that's fun.
What a crazy game, man. Oh, wow. It must have been so fun to be watching this game at the table here with these guys.
Yeah. There it is.
Wow, so there it is.
Oh, there was the Diamond Valley. He just showed it.
Oh, next turn.
Oh, I kept thinking when Joel did not main phase that he slow rolled his divine offering on that first Colossus, let him attack. I kept thinking, what if Jack plays the Diamond Valley out?
Oh, right. Yeah.
He wouldn't have gained that life.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah,
you can't respond in playing that land.
That's right. You can't respond to playing lands. That's right.
Oof.
Well, let's pause it.
Okay.
And let's revisit our sideboards here. So back to the decks. Wow, what a game that was. You got to really tip your hat to Joel here. That was a very hard match, and even though there was that one play error with Ashes to Ashes where he can't target his own brass man, which he did sideboard in, if you noticed. He played that game just absolutely amazingly well and was able to pull it off by mainly focusing on the Kumbaj Witches and damaging Jack and getting the Underworld down early before the presence came.
Yeah, I didn't see the Spirit Shackles. It looked like we may have been right about that. He might have boarded out the Spirit Shackles. I didn't see the Spirit Links either. Did you?
I did not see the Spirit Links, and we figured those were coming out, right? We were guessing a major transformation, Spirit Shackles, Spirit Links, land taxes, but it looks like he kept the land tax in. We didn't see Greed, and we didn't see Spiritual Sanctuary, so I think we were right about those two.
Yeah.
And
he chose to draw first, so I'm curious what Jack will choose to do. It's Jack's option now since he lost.
Right.
He chooses game 3.
Right, so we got to think about that. The other card that I'm thinking about here, Tim, is the Abyss is really not great. It costs 4 to get it into play. Unless you've got 2 or 3 Felwar Stones, you're going to be triggering land tax to get it into play. By the time you get it into play, your opponent's already ditched a bunch of creatures and All Hallows Eve. So is the Abyss good?
No, you're right, Chad. It's not great against Reanimation and All Hallows Eve decks. In fact, when he's leaning that heavily on the Witch, he probably did board out the Abyss for the Witches.
Right. So the Abyss comes out. The Spiritual Sanctuary comes out. The Greed comes out. Tano's Coffin costs 4. Does Tano's Coffin come out?
He might have left Greed, though, Chad, with 4 Divine Offerings. He's gaining so much life. He probably left the Greed.
You think so? So does the Tano's Coffin stay or go?
I think 4. He leaves that because that makes one of his key threats immune to Reanimation. It's just like kind of gone permanently to the Coffin as long as he keeps it tapped.
Okay, so we're taking out the Abyss. We're taking out the Spiritual Sanctuary. You're opting to leave in Greed.
When you can gain like 20 life,
right.
That's pretty good.
Well, if you're going to leave in Greed, then you probably got to leave in the Fountain and the Ivory Tower, right?
Yeah, because with the Witch's damage, he's definitely going to leave those in.
So the 3 Spirit Shackles still come out. So that's 3, 4, 5 cards. And then the 4 Spirit Links They still come out, right? But you know what? A spirit-linked Kumbaj Witch is pretty good.
Well, maybe he could leave a link or two, and maybe took out, like you said, a couple of land taxes.
Well, he did have the land tax in the opening hand, but he had no. His mana was really not great. You know, he's got 8 basic swamps here, 4 scrublands, and 6 plains, and 2 City of Brass. So he's really had to lean in heavily on the swamp so he can play Underworld. But in that last game, you saw it really hurt him because he didn't have a plains or a scrubland or a City of Brass in his opening hand.
Right.
He drew into that scrubland, it looked like, on the second or third turn, had to play into land tax and trigger it. So, you know, that triple black. But, man, the Underworld is with the witches is the way he wins the game.
Yeah, it looks good. It's a pretty good setup. The witches are strong against a lot of those creatures like All Lightning's Preachers and Tundra Wolves.
So he did not go the millstone.
And Hell's Caretaker. It's really good there.
He did not go down that millstone route that I was thinking. So maybe that was bad play.
No.
Okay, so but we want to get in 1 Underworld, right? We want to get in the 2 Dust to Dust.
Yep, 3 witches.
We want to get into 3 witches, so that's 6 cards, and then the 4 Brassmen. That's 10 cards still.
I didn't see any Brassmen on his side. I think that Brassman that was in play was on Jack's side with the Reanimator deck. So maybe he's just bringing the Greater Realms 2 less cards than what we thought. So...
Well, if he's going to do that, he still has to worry about those early Brassmen and those early Tundra Wolves, which makes the Spirit Links more important.
He's just all in on leaning on that witch. He's just like, I'm going to have to play 2 mana and play my witch, and I can stop playing lands if I get... He thinks if I just play 2 lands and 1 Fellwar Stone, I've got 3, and I don't have to play any more lands.
All right, so Spiritual Sanctuary comes out, Abyss comes out, and the 3 Spirit Shackle come out. The good news is swapping Spirit Shackle for Kumbaj doesn't change your mana curve at all. 2 black on each of those.
Yeah, it's an easy swap.
Yep. And that's 5 cards. So we need 1 more card from the main board to come out so that we can get in the 3 Riches, the 1 Underworld, and the 2 Dust to Dust.
Did you cut any tax?
No. You know what? I'm thinking about this. The cards that saved Joel's life was actually the Colossus coming back into play.
Yeah.
If the Colossus hadn't come back into play, the Divine Offerings would not have saved his life. So we haven't talked about Jack's deck yet, but let's keep that point for when we come to Jack's deck. I guess we could go down to 3 land tax and just put in the Underworld Dreams and do 3 land tax. But do we need land tax? That's the question. Does the deck need land? I mean,
it helps you to get triple black.
It helps you get triple black. It helps you if you have an Ivory Tower to gain a ton of life.
And it helps you with Jalem Tome to have card draw.
It helps you with the Jalem Tome. So you're right. The land tax needs to stay, but do we need 4 or can we do 3?
I don't think you need 4. You could probably go down 1.
Yeah. Okay, so we take out 1 land tax, the 3 Spirit Shackles, and we take out the Spiritual Sanctuary and the Abyss. We put in the 3 Witches, the 2 Dust to Dust, and the Underworld Dreams. But that leaves no Greater Realm of Preservation.
Yeah, so Greater Realm. What could he possibly take out for those? That's tough. I don't know if he's cutting like a Fellwar Stone or another land tax or a greed. Like
no, he needs the Fellwar Stone so he can try to play around his opponent's land tax.
Yeah,
so you definitely don't want to take those out. That's why I'm going back to greed. You need 4 mana for greed. You got to lose life to use it. I would pop that greed out.
Maybe he's cutting it. Yeah, maybe he's cutting it.
Yeah, I'd pop it out and I'd put in a Greater Realm. And then we got to leave that 1 Triskelion in for sure.
Maybe he's cutting the Fountain of Youth for a second Greater Realm. That could even prevent his own witch damage if he had to.
That's right. Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, so you pull out the Fountain of Youth, put in the second Greater Realm. There we go. All right, so Fountain of Youth out. 3 Spirit Shackles out. Greed, Spiritual Sanctuary, Abyss out. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 land tax out. That's 8 cards. In goes 3 witches, 2 dust to dust, 2 greater realm of preservation, and 1 underworld.
Nice.
Okay, I think that's pretty strong sideboard for Joel. All right, let's go back to Jack's Colossal Tax return. All right, so the first point is I want to go back to the Colossus, right? I know that's the theme of the deck, but what has really given Joel the ability to claw his way back into the game is actually Divine Offering the Colossus.
I mean, now as bad as I thought this matchup was for the Underworld Sanctuary deck, now I'm starting to rethink it, because even if he leaves the Colossus and if he leaves the artifacts, that's just giving him tons of life. But if he takes the artifacts out, then he has to win with black and red based creatures, and that's tough too with the Greater Realm.
Yeah, I think what he's got to do is he's got to put in. He really needs more speed, right? He can't lean into his tax edge idea because there's no Blood Moon. The presence of the Master. Let's talk about presence of the Master, right? It shuts down all of Joel's enchantments, but he's taking out the Abyss. He's taking out Spiritual Sanctuary. He's taking out Greed. He's taking out 3 Spirit Shackles. That's 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That's 6 enchantments right there. But it still stops Underworld if he can get it out early.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate he's not playing like Felwar Stones of his own or something to accelerate that out a little faster, or accelerate like an All Hallows Eve a turn faster as well.
Yeah. Well, last we're at 1-1 now. In the game 1 sideboarding, we had said take out Abu Jafar, take out the 4 Spirit Link, and take out the 2 Preacher. I think that is what he did, right? Because that's
yeah. And even if he boards out the Colossus, the only other card he could bring in is like the Dancing Scimitar, which still just gains him 4 life instead of 8.
Well, he could put in the 2 Tundra Wolves to get in early, which I think he should do.
I thought we already had that in there before. I thought we did. Okay, yeah.
But I mean, is gaining 4 life for Joel better than gaining 9?
I don't know. Now I'm just thinking, I'm not sure how he's going to get around that, because the 1/5.
Oh, here's what he needs to do.
Okay.
He needs to be careful about when he puts the Colossus into his graveyard. That's what he needs to do. He has Gate to Phyrexia. He's got Diamond Valley. He's got Life Chisel. And he's got Hell's Caretaker. So
ideally, he needs to have the Diamond Valley in play.
He needs to have either Diamond Valley, Gate to Phyrexia, or even Life Chisel. But Life Chisel only activates during your upkeep. So he needs to have Gate to Phyrexia or Diamond Valley in play before casting All Hallows Eve, if he's got Colossus in the graveyard.
Yeah, I would love to see something like Fallen Angel and Tetrabus make an appearance in this deck as well, just for shenanigans like sacking.
Yes, a Fallen Angel would have been killer good, because you could sack all the little dudes to the Fallen Angel, and if they don't have an amazing
like a Tetrabus with Hell's Caretaker and Gate to Phyrexia.
Right. So what is your vote? Do we take Colossus out, or do we swap him for the Scimitars, or do we leave him in?
I think you live by the sword, die by the sword. So.
Well, the scimitar is a sword.
Exactly. So my prediction is I don't think he can get around it. He has to have the Diamond Valley out and leave the Colossus in and plan to win that way, or else he doesn't win. Yeah.
Is there anything else we could swap out? I mean, I don't really see... The Brassman and the Tundra Wolves are going to give him the early damage, so those guys have to stay. Does he need 4 Bazaar of Baghdad?
I think yes. I want to say yes, because that fuels his All Hallows Eve.
Okay, he's got to go all in. All right,
if he could get 8 creatures in the graveyard, that's a lot that his opponent can't deal with.
So we're back to pulling out. Now, he did not pull out Preacher. We saw Preacher remain.
That was bizarre to me, but I think he should pull that out for a couple more wolves or a couple more creatures.
So
I don't see how that's going to live against Witch and all his removal.
right. Maybe he took out the life chisel.
That's fine. I mean, but the life gain is real in this deck, you know. But is it only during your upkeep that you can do that though?
Yes.
Life chisel.
Sacrifice a creature during your upkeep to gain life equal to the creature's toughness.
See, then I don't think that's going to get around Divine Offering with Colossus.
Right. So you could.
So maybe he did board that out.
You could argue to take that out. But if he's really, really low on life, and like the Yawgmoth demon gets spirit linked or something, he can sack the demon.
Yeah, I guess he has to leave it. He needs the sack outlets.
Yeah. Let's see. Does he need 2 Gate to Phyrexia? Probably so, because Gate to Phyrexia. Gate to Phyrexia also says sacrifice one of your creatures during your upkeep and destroy any one artifact. So that is also only during your upkeep.
Yeah, I would sack a Tundra Wolf or a Brass Man all day on like turn 2 or 3 with the gate out to destroy a Fellwar Stone so that my opponent can't win the tax war.
Right, yeah. So those have to stay. All right, so then we're back to just the 2 Preachers, the 4 Spirit Links, and the 2 Abu Jafars still. So we got those 8. But he left the Preachers in.
Yeah, I guess he just, I don't know. That's just what we would do, Chad, but obviously not all minds think alike.
So the 4 Spirit Links are an easy swap for the 4 Presents. And then we take out the 2 Abus and put in the 2 Tundra Wolves and call it a day?
Guess so. Yeah. There you have it.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah, here we go. I hope we have another great game.
All right, this is a crazy, crazy in-person matchup. We've got Joel Flint's Enchanted Underworld, Jack Clegg's Colossus Tax Return, and we're going to game number 3. Let's skip ahead here a little bit.
119.43, they drew their hands.
All right, 119.43. I'm right there, and let me switch over. Bam! There we go. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I see his starting hand is Jalem Tome, some lands, and Underworld Dreams. Yeah, I can't see everything in Joel's hand, but
he's got a lot of mana, which is can be both good and bad. He definitely wants. Oh, I might need to change my view here. Can we pause just a second here?
Pausing now.
Yeah.
120.32.
Yeah, I need to. What happened there? I thought I had this correct. Let me just rearrange.
So looks like Jack Reanimator has the land tax again on turn 1, and Joel does not have it. So it's kind of a big advantage starting out. And it also interesting, Jack chose to draw first, which is interesting to note. Maybe it doesn't seem interesting that he made that choice, but he did choose to draw first.
All right, on 3, Tim. 1. I'm at 120.31.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
So yeah, he did draw first, and he has the tax.
He did, yeah, and he's gotten it every game. All 3 games he's gotten that land tax. It's pretty good.
Strong. But he has the Witch for Joel there on turn 2.
Oh, that's pretty strong too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a reason to leave those Spirit Links in is actually those Witches. We were saying take the Spirit Links out because,
like you said, maybe a couple Spirit Links would be okay.
You know, we said take them out because of Presence of the Master, but
yeah.
All right, so I assume here comes a Tundra Wolf. Nope, a Brass Man. Ooh, that's really solid against the Witches. Both 1/3s. You know, these are both Arabian Nights creatures, and the dynamics of the Arabian Nights creatures are so cool. Oh, he's ditching Presence of the Master. Whoa.
So why didn't he play? He didn't play a second land?
He's discarding the land.
Why didn't he? Did he play a land? I can't see.
Because he wants to land tax again.
Oh, he wants to tax again.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to fill his hand.
Yep, and then Jalum Tome coming down for Joel.
But if he doesn't play lands, then he can't cast a greater Presence of the Master very early.
Well, he just ditched the Presence of the Master, so he must have another one in his hand.
Sure, yeah, you're definitely. I think you're definitely right on about that. What does he want to discard? I don't understand why he didn't want to play a second land on that turn. I don't. Unless he forgot.
Now he can land tax. Now he can just get right back in it and land tax every turn here. Okay, so
he Spirit Linked the Witch.
He left the Spirit Links in. He's Spirit Linking the Witches. That is.
This is so interesting. Okay.
That is very strong. Here we were saying take the Spirit Links out, but they're a great answer to the Witches.
Right, those Witches owned him last game, so I guess he kind of had to.
But he also, this is so strange, right? He's got land tax in the deck. He's got Spirit Links in the deck, and he's got Presence of the Master. And all those are enchantments that he can't play if Presence comes down. But he can...
It's kind of strange. Yeah, I don't know about all that. That's the strategy. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to talk to Jack about that one. What he thinks. So far, it's working out. He got the link down before the Presence came out, so...
Okay, so now if you're Joel, you just, your major damage dealer just got neutralized with that Spirit Link. Maze of Ith going to the graveyard? No. You got to keep that Maze of Ith, man. That's like, you got to have that late game. You're never going to get that card back.
That's a pretty good card against all those fatties that are going to try to kill him.
Right. I mean, he can just keep it and hold it till...
I'm so curious what he's holding in his hand. Like 3 Underworld Dreams and I don't know. And like a Dust to Dust.
That Plains being a Plains instead of a scrub land is a really big negative because he could probably have an Underworld down now.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 Brassman coming at him. He's going to... Now that's really not great because now every time that he blocks that Brassman, he's gaining Jack a life here. So Joel's in a really bad spot already. Ball Lightning Creature going to the graveyard.
I agree. Yeah.
And some land going to the graveyard.
I mean, he's gaining 1 life a turn, but still, it's something. That's tough with Underworld Dreams and a Witch. You only do a couple damage a turn, so.
Yeah.
And the Witch actually can't do any damage to him now that it's linked.
Right. Okay, now Presence of the Master comes down. Oh, man.
Okay, so now you discarded the Maze. I'm wondering now if you kept an enchantment in your hand over that. So that's where I don't see how he wins with that card on the board.
that stops the whole game because now his Greater Realms of Preservation are gone. His all of his enchantments are out. He can't put Spirit Link. He can't play any more land tax. All of that gets countered, and he really needed a scrub land to get that Underworld.
Wow.
You see, he's discarding the Underworld.
So he played the 3rd land out to play the Jalem Tome.
Right.
Seems like he should have just set on the 2 swamp until he got max activation.
Waited until because then he could have waited until he gets a scrub land or be able to land tax again and get what he needs. Yeah, maybe he got impatient and put that Jaloom in.
Yeah, he played the Jaloom and the Plains, and if he set on the 2 swamp, he would have been able to tax a 3rd swamp and at least get an Underworld down.
Right.
Which could have made a difference. We'll see. There are possibilities. He still has the Coffin Trike, which you can do tons of damage with that late in the game.
Yeah.
See what happens. But yeah, it looks bleak for the Underworld Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's not looking good. After that phenomenal game number 2, the Presence of the Master is so
Presence
strong.
of the Master is like, you shall not pass. You can't play spells.
you shall not enchant. But it's really bizarre that Jack would go for running land taxes, running Spirit Links, and running Presence of the Master all in the same deck. It's such a contradictory strategy there.
It is, at least, but all he really needs is 1 tax down early. But the links are kind of weird to me. I don't know how many links, but he did get the link down early, so it worked for him. It all worked out. He can't play any more links or taxes, but yeah. So did he just play? I can't tell what that is with the glare on top.
That's another land tax.
He put down another land tax?
Oh, yeah, he can't do that. It would get countered.
Oh, he'd probably rather just discard that to a Jalum Tome.
Yeah, he can't play it anyway. If that's what it is. It's on top of the other land tax.
Huh.
Okay, so he pinged the wolf there, gained Jack a life, took the damage from one of the brass, so he's down to...
He left in the spiritual sanctuary, too. That's interesting.
Oh, he did. So look at that. He's got Greater Realm Preservation right there, and he can't play it.
He's done.
Yeah. Greater Realm in the graveyard. Presence of the Master.
Well, he's got the coffin. Let's see if he gets into like some tri-coffin shenanigans. You know, I noticed that Joel's not playing the Mishra's Workshop. I'm thinking that I had that with the trike and the coffin for late game stuff.
Right.
It also casts Jalum Tomes and Felwar Stones.
Yeah.
Which is kind of relevant.
Right. Well, Jack's at 24 and Joel's at 15.
Okay, 24 to 15. Well, this game's not out of reach. I don't know how many cards Jack has, but he's not doing a whole lot. He doesn't have a Bazaar active yet, so.
Well, but he's taking a damage per turn while Jack's gaining life, so.
He's on a 15 turn clock.
Man, I don't like this at all. It's looking extremely bad for Joel. I mean, without his Underworld Dreams, he can't win. Unless he put in millstones. He has
the coffin trike late game. That's about all
he can coffin trike late game, but Jack will be at so many life. He would have needed to put in millstones here, which would maybe that's what I was saying back in game one that.
Yeah, Millstone Jalum Tome, Millstone Felden's Cane. You're right.
Yes, Millstone Felden's Cane can be a win con.
I agree, and I think we both thought he should fit those in.
Well, in game one I did, but we didn't talk about it for game.
Oh, that's the Fountain of Youth over there.
Oh, Fountain of Youth, that's what it is. Okay.
And now he's stuck on 14 life, pretty much.
All right, so now he's stuck. Yeah, but at least he's stabilized on that. He's throwing away Oubliette. He can't play that. Plays Witches number 2. All right, that's pretty good. Witches number 2 is pretty good.
Blocker for the brass.
Brass man number 3. Jesus.
Okay, he needs Witch number 3.
Yeah, if he gets to Witch number 3, he can deal with those brass men, but they'll come back with All Hallows.
Oh, that's true.
There's 2 black. Is that Witch number 3?
That would be wild. Well, he's kind of stabilized
he gained a life.
right
he
now.
Gained a life.
Okay.
I guess the good news is he can Jalum Tome away all of his enchantments since he can't play them. And, Jack doesn't play Jalum Tome, so he's not getting that draw.
Right. The Jalum Tome was just like, I'm just cycling all these cards that I can't use.
That could late game, if this goes really long and he doesn't have his Felden's Cane, that could come back to haunt him.
Yeah, it only works if he plays the Felden's Cane here. Yeah. That's why it's in the deck, I would think. But we'll see if he brought it.
There's Tana's Coffin coming down. Now that's interesting.
And you know what? He can't kill the Coffin because he cannot play his Gate to Phyrexia anymore.
That's right. He can't.
So there's the Bazaar. And remember the play of him putting the planes to play the Jalum? If he had held to get that Underworld Dreams, what a difference that might have made.
Oh, yeah. It would have been the total difference in this game. If he had just been able to have a scrub land in his opening hand
just a scrub land.
Yeah, or been able to land tax.
Or city, yeah.
Or city of brass or a land tax. Yeah. It was he needed to get to that third black and get that Underworld down before Presence of the Master came in.
I still don't know how Joel's exactly going to win unless he can do Coffin Trike late with the Witches, but it's not looking good. But I mean, I still don't know if this game's over though,
Yeah. This is why I think for Joel's deck in particular, it's such a controlling deck. It needs Mirror Universe, It needs Mirror Universe because of these scenarios, and he didn't have it. He went for those. I think that the Spirit Shackles are real clunky, and they're double black, and I don't really think they're great enchantments. You could have easily swapped one of those out for a Mirror Universe, and could have made all the difference.
Yeah, it seems like that would work.
Okay, so he's able to gain a life per turn. He's able to block 2 of the He could actually block one brass man and then double ping and get rid of it. So he's holding.
I was thinking that. Yeah, he's actually stabilized, and he has a factory out now.
Oh, he's
too.
got a factory out now too. Look at his hand. He's got a strip mine in there.
Okay.
He's got a. Looks like is that a greed right there on top? But he can't play that.
Yeah.
Can't tell what else he's got. So there hasn't been a ton of big creatures going into Jack's graveyard yet. He does have the one Bazaar in play, so he is doing it. But maybe Jack is going to run himself out of cards here. Divine Offering I don't know if I would do that. I'd save that Divine Offering for the Colossus.
Yeah, and I don't know how many he has in his hand, but I'm trying to think, what is he trying to do? Win with that witch?
Yeah, I mean, what's he got going here? His opponent's at 25. He's at 16. Oh.
Ooh, that dust to dust.
Dust to dust, removing those two. And now this is interesting. Now he's cleared the board, and he can attack with Factory and Witches, just like
for
that.
3. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's not a bad play, Chad.
Go Joel. Joel's making us look like really bad commentators.
I mean, he has.
There's the all hollows.
He can still win, but it doesn't look good.
No, I mean, it was looking really bad.
He is drawing a ton of cards, and he had stabilized. Now he's got the advantage.
Well, but now All Hollows is cast. His 2-turn clock to get all those things in, but he's got the Thanos Coffin. He could probably coffin something as it comes in if he needs to.
Yeah. I'm curious what is lurking in that graveyard of Jack's there.
Well, he's gonna be Bazaar Baghdading, both of these 2 turns. Okay, so Factory and Witch coming in for 3 more damage.
And you notice something interesting to note here. The coffin will not remove auras or enchantments from creatures.
That's
so
right.
That Witch with the link, it would stay on it. Even if he exiles it, it would come back.
Witch number 3 there. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, one more Bazaar Baghdad dump of. There's the Gates Phyrexia, and then whatever else he put in. One more.
Looks like a 1-drop white card.
Yeah, maybe a Tundra Wolf. So he doesn't have a lot of his big boys in the graveyard yet. Wow.
I would have loved to see, I gotta say it, the Fallen Angel and a Tetrabus in this type of deck.
Yeah.
It's just cool to me. But my hat's off to Jack. He's the one who built the cool deck and played it in the tournament.
All right, so here we got Factory and Witches coming in for 4 damage, bringing Jack down to 15. It's 15 to 16 in Joel's favor. One more Bazaar Baghdad trigger, and then now All Hollows.
Okay.
So he didn't get very many good creatures into the graveyard. 1 Colossus, 2 Tundra Wolves, 2 Brassmen, a Johann, a Preacher, and a Hell's Caretaker. I mean, this is probably the best Joel could have hoped for in terms of not all that great powerful creatures. And if he can Divine Offering that Colossus or do another Dust to Dust, but he can Thanos Coffin the Johann, and he can ping the rest of these little dudes away with his Witches.
Yeah, he's got a chance here. Could you imagine if he splashed like green and had a couple Concordant Crossroads and like that was
just,
like
boom,
a scrub land or a Savannah or something or a Bayou and just played Concordant and went,
right.
Oh yeah.
So that's one way to do it, right? Concordant's great with all halls. Okay, so he Thanos Coffins the big Colossus. He's got a Jaloom Tome over there in the glare, and he's got a Fountain of Youth in the glare, along with the land tax. Is Joel going to be able to turn this game around? This is
wild. This is such a wild game.
It is.
It's fun.
I mean,
but he can hit the Caretaker and the Preacher again.
He can with the Witches. The Witches are a great answer to so many of these small creatures. Oh, look at this!
Johann.
Johann, exile. Those 2 guys are exiled. Pays 5 life. Removes Johann and the Hell's Caretaker from the game, leaving Jack with just 4 1/1s and a couple of Brassmen.
He let him keep the Preacher.
Yeah, because he can ping it in response.
Okay. Can you respond to Preacher activation?
Yeah. If Preacher's out of play, its effect is gone.
That is a very interesting ruling to look into. Just gonna leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. It's long and complicated.
Oh, okay. So he can activate it, but he can ping him in response. So now the preacher's dead. And the trigger's not activated, right?
Okay, he just got it right back.
Yeah. All right, so he gains a life for that, and then he's able to ping the 2 Tundra Wolves, and he's going to take 2 more damage.
So it's interesting. He played that divine offering on that brass man to attack him for like eight
He should have saved it for the Colossus. That's what I was saying.
We thought he probably had another one, but we'll see when he gets to it, if he'll. Yeah.
That was a waste of a divine offering on that brass man gaining.
I mean, he was able to get in for 8 damage or something, give or take, but we'll see.
He could have taken that brass man out by pinging with the 3 witches. He should have saved that divine offering for that Colossus.
I bet his library's getting shallow. So I'm curious right here, Chad. Will he draw another divine offering? And even more importantly, does he have the Felden's Cane? Oh, there's the Tricoffin, but the coffin's tapped.
The coffin's got Colossus in it, so he's gonna need a divine offering. He can wait till he gets a divine offering. He can let the Colossus out, divine offering it, gain the 9 life.
Jeez, there's the win con for the
Joel
deck.
has turned this game around. I am just blown away.
That's what I said. It's got that 1 win condition that it can do late games. So
Jack was in command and control early.
There it is.
He just didn't get a lot of his big fatties like the ball lightning and whatnot into his graveyard. He got a lot of lands and weenies and with the bazaars and all that. So that All Hallows was not as strong, but he's doing All Hallows number 2 now.
Yeah, you're right. He has a lot of weenies, but not a lot of fatties for the All Hallows.
Yeah. So Tunnel's Coffin untaps. He's obviously gotten a Divine Offering to be able to, or another Ashes to, or no, he can't use Ashes to Ashes. He's either got another Dust to Dust or a Divine Offering. Hopefully it's a Divine Offering for Joel, if we're rooting for Joel.
Well,
okay.
I kind of hope it's not, actually, to make it interesting, but
well,
the Colossus still can't untap. It comes back tapped, so he has to have, remember, Chad, he has to have, 8 mana to untap it?
Yeah.
So it's just frozen.
Right,
yeah,
okay. The Tunnel's Coffin's a great answer for the Colossus.
It's like cheating against Colossus.
Right. So this is All Hallows number 2. It gets him a Triskelion, a Hell's Caretaker, a Preacher, and a Ball Lightning, and another Colossus. So this is a much better, he's gotten a lot better creature cards in his graveyard with the Bazaar. And here comes All Hallows number 3. Ball Lightning coming in, getting pinged by a Witch, and then dealing a damage back to Joel, bringing him to 8.
Ooh, there's the Diamond Valley, Chad.
Oh my goodness. There's
now this could get interesting.
Now the game is swinging back in Jack's favor.
This is wild. Isn't this what we just talked about in the sideboard?
Yes, that's right, because now he can gain. You don't want to play Colossus until you have Diamond Valley, and once you have Diamond Valley, you're good. Now he can sack that Colossus, gain 9 life, and then it'll come back with the All Hallows, both of them. He'll gain 18 life here and get 2 Colossus back in play.
This is wild.
This is some wild shit.
It could come down to decking for Joel.
It could.
Or Jack. They both
for either of them. It's more for Jack, right? Because he's been putting a lot of shit in his graveyard.
He who has the cane shall stand.
All right, so now he gets 9 life. Boom, 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 bringing him up to 25.
But he could Divine Offering here if
the Strip Mine was played. Look at that. Look at that. What? Joel played the Strip Mine to get rid of the Diamond Valley, so he can only use it that one time. That is genius.
Oh, wow.
He
held it.
He held it. Very smart play, Joel. Okay,
and it's a tower strip mine too, the one with the little tower on it on the picture.
So he's only been able to gain that 9 life from the Colossus, but that's still huge. Meanwhile, the Bazaar is putting Hell's the Yawgmoth Demon and other stuff in the graveyard. All right, here comes Colossus, 3 wolves.
Trike. Is he not worried about decking himself? I'm curious if they've even looked
he might have done what I said and put that Felden's Cane in.
Put that cane in.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, if Jack wants to win this game, he knows he's up against a control deck. I'm thinking he's smart enough to put that cane in. It's in his board for this reason.
Divine Offering?
There's the Divine Offering.
Oh, he used Preacher.
On what?
I don't know. He's saying you can't respond to my preacher.
Sure you can.
I guess he's going to give him a witch. Well, he can after he gets the creature, yeah. Who chooses the creature? Now they're having to look up creature here. I guarantee it.
Well, the opponent, he gets to choose a creature for... Joel gets to choose which creature Jack puts into play on his side.
So Jack has the preacher. He activates preacher, and then his opponent chooses which creature he'll give him.
He's going to choose a witch, and in response, the witch taps and does a damage to the preacher. That's what he's doing.
Okay. So what was the point of all that? I don't know.
And then he's divine offering the Colossus. So, and he's going to use the Triskelion to shoot one of those witches, I think. Probably the one that took a damage.
Oh, he put him to 5. He put him to 5 with it.
Okay, yeah. So he shot him for 3.
But then he went
gains
up
9. So he's back to 13. 13 to 25. All right.
25. Okay.
Wow. There's so much going on in this game.
14. He's got double Jalem Tome, Fountain of Youth, Coffin.
Okay, so Triskelion gets killed by a witch, and then his Triskelion goes in the coffin. That's going to be... This is putting Joel in the pole position here.
It's like we said, Chad. If he had the Diamond Valley, it's a green light for him, right? He can bring in all those clouds, and he did that. But
strip
of course,
mine.
Joel sat there holding the strip mine like the entire game.
Yes, which was really smart.
It's like they knew it would be a fight over the Diamond Valley.
Yeah,
that's wild.
It is wild.
Oh man! And if he had a fallen angel or something, like that could have been. It's ridiculously huge.
Yeah, because he tossed that Mazavith into his graveyard. He could have hit in for, like 20 damage in the air by sacking all his dudes and then get them all back the next turn with the All Hallows.
keep from letting him gain the life from the maybe the Divine Offering.
Right.
Too. But anyhow, it's still a really cool deck, really cool matchup here. I don't know who's going to win, but what are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking Joel's in command and control with the Triskelion, Thomas Coffin. But now here comes All Hallows Eve number 4.
Whoa!
Oh my God! Look at all this. 3 Colossus, another Triskelion, Preacher, Ball Lightning. I mean, if he only had Concordant Crossroads, it would be game over.
Whoa.
Wow! Look at this crazy board. All you old school Magic guys, if you're making it to this part of the video, this is the best, juiciest part of this entire match right here. Look at this crazy.
He just sacrificed the trike to bring back the Ball Lightning again.
How?
That was cool. During his upkeep.
Oh.
Because it's a 1/1 trike, so then he can get the trike back again like next turn if that guy lives.
Oh wow. Okay, so he's able to attack with Ball Lightning, but he gets pinged with the witches. All right, everything else has got Summoning Sickness. His Hell's Caretaker is tapped. Why is it tapped?
He sacked a trike to bring back the Ball Lightning.
Okay, but that Hell's Caretaker just came into play, right?
I don't know. I thought it did, but I'm a little confused.
I don't think that can be activated this turn. It has to be... Unless it's on Joel... Unless this is all happening on Joel's turn. Oh, yeah, because he attacked. No, but...
Well, yeah, it's Jack's turn. It would have to be Jack's upkeep.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he could have activated that Caretaker unless he came into play last turn, which I don't think he did.
Yeah, maybe they missed that.
Okay, so it's an untap for Joel. Jack's got his army of everything. So Joel needs an Ashes to Ashes here and a Dust to Dust. He needs both of them. Dust,
Divine Offering, something. But, even this, like, somebody needs to take a camera and just
There it is. There's the Ashes to Ashes.
Take a picture because look at this board state. That was awesome. Yeah. 3 Colossus and all those. That's awesome. Okay, so he goes to 7 from that 5 life. Can he pull this out in time? Their libraries are low. He's at 26 health. He would have to do a lot of damage with that Triskelion Coffin. Life Chisel. There it is, Chad.
Oh, look at that.
That's a lot of life gain. Whoa,
yeah.
You need a Dust to Dust, or he played a Dust to Dust on those 2 Brassmen.
Yeah, he did. But he should have played. He should have played it on the 2 Colossus.
He got aggressive to try to do a few damage with that factory and that witch a few turns, and if he saves it for the Colossus, like we talked about in the sideboard,
then he exile them, and they don't come back.
Yeah, he's going to be able to gain like tons. He can gain 24 life with those Colossus.
Oh my gosh! Well, he does have the coffin. He could put one of them in the coffin at least.
I think it's just over.
Yeah, it really looked like.
Well, he could divine offering the chisel, the life chisel.
Look at how much back and forth this match has. We keep thinking Jack's in control, then Joel's in control. Now Jack's back in control, then Joel's back, and now Jack's back in control. It's so swingy, man. It's crazy. Wow, this is just an absolutely amazing game.
So he's going to use the coffin on the trike that he blocked just to.
I guess he could try and put.
There's another one.
So divine offering. Oh my god.
He could have killed the chisel right there.
Oh yes.
Oh no, he couldn't have. He wouldn't have lived.
Oh, he wouldn't have lived. Right. He had to kill that Colossus. But at least they're both tapped, right? I mean, Jack has to have 9 mana untap him.
So is somebody gonna deck here, Chad?
I think so. I think Joel can still win this game by decking Jack because he can't untap those Colossus even if he gains a life. Plus, the Triskelion's going to get more and more counters every turn. That's why I was saying that Thanos Coffin Triskelion is such a strong. Eventually, he'll have enough counters to kill a. He's got 8 counters right now. He can almost kill a Colossus outright with the counters.
You know, one thing about a cam game, I just realized you can see the life total of your opponent, but spectating, you cannot see how many cards are in their decks.
Yeah.
Like a program like MTG Arena or Magic Online.
Right.
Show you the number of cards.
Oh my god. Now here's the final All Hallows. Look at this craziness.
With the life chisel, he's at 36. So how is he going to win? Now he's counting the cards.
Yeah.
36, life chisel. That dust to dust on those brass men.
I would have been, if I were him, I would have been more judicious. He didn't need to do those last couple of Bizarre Bagdads. He could have just left those because he's got enough creatures in his deck that there's going to be so much stuff coming out. He might run out of cards just by activating Bizarre Baghdad a couple times too many. Okay, so he Thanos Coffin his Triskelion, lets it come back in. It's got 11 counters on it now. He can just wipe out all these weenies.
But he can only do 3 damage a turn, and they have like 5 turns left.
Yeah. I wonder how he has 5 cards left in his deck?
I'm just guessing. Even if it's 5, that's 15 more plus 11 is 26, and he's at effectively 30. Joel's now at 45, yeah.
Right. Man, this match is now...
And they're coming back. So where's the Felden's Cane? Let's see if somebody brought in the Felden's Cane. Let's see it. Let's see the Millstone Felden's Cane action.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. We're playing this at 2x speed, and we've been going for 2 hours now almost.
Wow.
What a game.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11 counters on Triskelion, 1 counter on All Hallows. Now 3 more counters, so it's going to be 14 counters. Whoa, what's going on here? 14 counters on Triskelion. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, Jack Clegg's at 45 life, and Joel is at 7. So this is not going to be a game of life, potentially, unless... Let's see. Okay, so did we ever look up the legends there? That 5/5 trample guy.
Is it?
Do you want to look him up real quick?
Yeah, I can.
So we got 2 Triskelions, a Ball Lightning, 3 Colossus, the 5/5 first strike trample legends we can't remember the name of, the 2 Brass Man, a Preacher, and another Tundra Wolves, along with a Hell's Caretaker.
That guy's called Axelrod Gunnarsson.
Axelrod Gunnarsson, that's what it is. All right, I'm taking another screenshot here because this is just wild. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh. No wonder these Aussie dudes are loving Four Horsemen so much, right? I mean...
These games are fun. These remind me of the games we used to play when I was in high school as we were 14, 15 years old. and we would go after school and we'd play these games, and we would miss our ride home when our parents were supposed to come pick us up.
Right.
Because we'd get in these games like this, and they would just be like, "Ooh, who's gonna win?" It would be like epic battle.
Epic battle, right? Yeah, and you're so like engaged and entrenched in the game, where nothing else matters in the moment.
It's like, I gotta finish this Magic game.
Well, believe me, these guys having beers at the pub here down in Australia, playing Four Horsemen live. I mean,
he's got another divine.
Oh my god! Wow.
He was digging for that with the Jalem. Why is he digging if there is it 1 card to 2 cards in the library?
So he pings the Hell's Caretaker, which is smart. All right, he coffins the Colossus, which is also smart. He's got a 13/13 Triskelion that's tapped.
He can shoot down all his army with that.
He can shoot down a lot of stuff. He can ping out. Man, these witches are just invaluable, right? He can ping. He pings the Preacher with a witch that gains Jack a life. What was that damage there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was that?
Just from the witch. He's taking pings from the witch, using the witch.
Oh. He should only take 2 maximum.
Okay, so he's drawing, and it looks like it's 1 card to 1 card.
Left in the decks?
Yes.
So who went first?
Well, Jack is gonna. Jack just drew. He had 2. Now he has 1. So Joel, I've got it backwards.
Yeah, Joel's on the upper side. Jack's on the lower side.
Joel just had 2 cards and drew to 1.
Oh wow. Ooh,
there's
the dust to dust. So he took damage from the Triskelions earlier. That's what it was. Okay, so he dust to dust. Now those are removed. Those are removed from the game, not in the graveyard. But I guess all the All Hollows were done. But Felden's Cane could still happen, right? He could play it next turn.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy if he played Felden's Cane and tapped it right here?
He paid 5 and went to 1? Or he was at 9, he went to 4. Okay.
Yeah, he was at 9 and went to 4. So those guys are removed too. Now wait a minute. Ashes to Ashes can't target the artifact creatures. Who did he target with that?
The Axelrod and the
like a Tundra Wolf or something.
Yeah.
All right, so Jack is just attacking with everything here. He's down to no cards in his deck. He's got 1 card left in his deck, right? So Jack is going to lose by decking. That's what we thought. And I remember I was telling you earlier he was grinding. He was grinding it out. Oh, there's the Felden's Cane right there. What?
How did he lose? Oh, it's in his sideboard. He showed it to him.
No. Well, remember I was telling you earlier that he could have Bizarre Baghdaded just a couple less times and it would have made a difference.
Well, yes, Chad. We were sitting there talking like, how come nobody's counting libraries while they were drawing all these cards?
Right.
Well, it's relevant stuff.
Wow, what a crazy game. 55-4 and got decked.
It was just pure defense on the Underworld enchantment deck. He couldn't really cast half his deck, and he just sat there and played defense with some witches and divine offerings and card draw.
Man, it just goes to show you
and the trike.
How strong the witches are against all these weenie decks.
I mean, he did have a machine gun of a Triskelions late in the game. He was sitting there shooting, he shot off probably 20-something counters.
Yeah.
One Felden's Cane would have won for either player.
Either side, yeah. So that is it, folks. If you've stuck with us to the end of this match, number 1, this is amazing in person for Horsemen match. Number 2, phenomenal matchup. Just looking at Joel Flint's Enchanted Underworld, inspired by Tim Kincaid's Enchanted Underworld from Tournament 14 with slight tweaks, was able to defeat the powerful Colossal tax return.
Colossal tax return from Jack.
What a great brew. What a spicy deck. You just can't get more old school than this. Like you were saying, Tim, these are the kind of decks that we played at Sidewalk Magic as kids. And you just don't see these kind of interactions in any of the other old school formats. But you see this wild, crazy, amazing, interesting stuff in Four Horsemen. This could have been anyone's game, like you just said, Tim. Both of these guys have Felden's Cane in their sideboards, and it could have been anyone's game if they had, number 1, put Felden's Cane in, and number 2, been paying attention to Jaloom Tome draws and Bazaar Baghdad draws. Ultimately, that's what this game came down to, right? It came down to who is drawing the most cards.
Yeah, it did, and it's ironic that neither one brought in the Felden's cane. It's so funny. Like I said, he who has the cane shall stand.
That's right. The time
this brought
twister.
This brought me back to 1994 tonight. Watching this with you, Chad. This was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot longer
from these guys, and I imagine they had a really good time there in Australia playing.
Oh yeah, imagine you've had your 6 or 7 beers in.
Oh man,
that could be the reason why people weren't counting decks, right? If you're having a bunch of brews and you're having a great time, and you're not thinking too deeply about the strategy. That may be part of it.
There's a lot going on there, and they did pretty good. They didn't seem to miss too many triggers or this or that.
There's very few play errors. So hats off to our victor, Joel Flint, pulling off an amazing, losing the first match, winning the second match, and pulling out the third match by decking. Amazing games, fantastic play, and hats off to Joel and Jack. Colossal tax return goes down to the Enchanted Underworld. And that's going to do it for our live in-person Aussie crew 4 Horsemen Tournament 20 group match. Tim, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Thank you to everyone for watching us. Check us out at 4horsemenmagic.com if you want to get in on some of this 1994 action that Tim's talking about here. All right, Tim, with that, we will sign off. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.